now tuned in to the Coach V Show.
Welcome to the Coach V Show, your show for personal development with expert insights and interviews to help you, me, and we work to be our best and live our best life, and offering to you life lessons, success frameworks, and behavioral models so that you can achieve what you want to achieve and also translate that achievement and success into the real juice of life, which is what I call joy, peace, happiness, fulfillment, love, and family time. Tonight, I am super excited to have from across the sea, down in the southern hemisphere of Sydney, Australia, Miss Kirrah Amosa is the feature for this evening. Since entering the entertainment industry at the young age of 7, this Australian and Samoan independent artist has been nonstop, from touring with the original cast of Hamilton, Australia, to supporting artists such as Rita Ora, Adam Lambert, James Arthur, Jess Glynne, to being invited back to the Ministry of Sound Orchestrated Australian tour with Sam Sparro, Waters and Alison Limerick, while accepting the honor of being the ambassador down under for the Cure for Brain Cancer Foundation of Australia. Kirrah's versatility and colossal work ethic is hard to overlook. With her fans by her side, Kirrah vows to continue supporting other artists in her shoes, learn and share the history of her Polynesian roots, and only create music that is honest and real. And this is only the beginning for Kirrah.
Beautiful island, so tropical. I'm up on cloud 9 with the sky so blue. Have you ever wanted something more? Stick with me and I'll make your dreams come true. So come on over, let's wind it down. Take my hand, let me lead the way. If you want to, I can take you. Guarantee that you never want to leave. Come on over, baby, slow it down. Stick with me, I can show you how. If you want to, I can teach you. Wanna learn the island way. Something about them growing up by the water. We know how you want it. We know how to love the island way. Something about them growing up by the ocean. We know how you want it. We know how to keep you wanting more. Have you ever made love on the sand? I'll take you higher, higher than you've ever been before. If you need it, I can teach you. Wanna learn the island way. Something about them growing up by the water. We know how you want it. We know how to love the island way.
Here is what she has been quoted down in Australia as her biggest dream. I'd love to be touring, releasing my own stuff. And I think the day a whole stadium full of people start singing my lyrics back to me, that's when I'll die happy. Excited to have Miss Kirrah Amosa on the show. here on Island City, where the beach meets the streets, on the Coach V Show, where iron sharpens iron. Together we rise. Kirrah Amosa, welcome to the Coach V Show.
What an intro. I am so hyped, and it's only thank you so much for finally being able to connect with my crazy schedule. Thank you to Island City. I wish I was with you guys. I really miss being over there with you.
In that, I think it's only appropriate to shout out Brother Q and DJ Green of Island City Media Group for making the connection, as Kirrah and I met in January of 2020, just prior to COVID hitting, in Hollywood during our team meetings. Kirrah, what's Kirrah up to? And if you would, as we start to break down the life lessons that you can offer Coach V and our listening audience, what is your genesis point? Who is your family? Where are you from? And introduce yourself here from Australia to the States, so that we could start to familiarize ourselves with a rising star.
No pressure. Okay. Just easy, just small things. I'm from Canberra. I was born in Canberra, which is the capital of Australia. My mum's Australian. My dad is Samoan. I grew up singing in church with Dad. He was in a duo with his brother from a very young age. I would just hear them singing at gigs or around the house. And from between 5 and 7, it's just quite young now that I think about it. I would just kind of slip in a third harmony when they'd rehearse in the kitchen. I just walk past, like, singing my own little thing, and then we did a few performances together when I was quite young, and that just never stopped. My dad moved over here from Otara. He was born in New Zealand. He's one of 5, and he's Samoan, and so I know. I'm so lucky to know what it comes from having not much at all. And for me, I'm given everything. So I've never been without. And I will never, ever forget all the people that have come before me to bring me to where I am now. Went through school, didn't love it. I think I went to a very prestigious high school. And because I was arts and craft, I wasn't very classified the academically inclined. And I went through uni. I have a Bachelor of Music in Jazz Performance, which at the time I thought I hated, but only because it was extremely challenging. So I really love it. And towards the end of uni, I was always doing amateur theatre at home in Canberra. And I never thought I was really good enough. But I did a pro amateur version of Wicked in Canberra, and I was the Green Witch Elphaba, and my dad was the Wizard of Oz. And so having that incredible, if you know the story too, you'll know that their connection is quite amazing. I won't ruin it for you. It's pretty obvious now though. But that was kind of the point where I thought maybe I actually am better than I think I am. I've got a lot more to give than I think I do. I submitted myself on Facebook for my first major musical, which was The Bodyguard here in Australia, and we toured a few cities. And that experience was insane, because I just completely changed as a person, as a woman, as an artist. I realized what I wanted, and I realized what I could do. And I used that to propel me forward and start releasing my own music. After that experience, it was because I'd gone through so many changes at the time that were really overwhelming for me as a young lady. I decided I wouldn't do any other musicals unless it was Wicked, because I had already had such a great, beautiful connection with Wicked, or unless it was Hamilton, which I knew was like a big growing thing, a huge movement in the States that was making waves over here, and we were just hearing about it and wanting to be part of it. And so I always thought if those 2 musicals came by, I would audition for them and them alone. And then towards the end of 2019, I auditioned for Hamilton in Australia. But at the time, I was going back and forth from LA, and I was spending time with you guys and spending time with Q and meeting artists that I grew up listening to and hearing that they thought that I belonged there. I thought I belonged there. That's where I wanted to be. So as I was auditioning for Hamilton, I thought, I always said that I would do it, so I might as well just do it. I kept going along in the auditions, and at one point, it was before the last audition, they said, we'd love to see Kirrah one more time. This is all via Zoom, by video submission as well. So they said, we'd love to see Kirrah one more time. And I wrote out this email that said, I would love to, thank you for the opportunity, but I don't know if I can continue auditioning for this show. But I didn't send it. And then COVID hit. And so I had to come home. And then there was no performance opportunities in Australia at all. I went from gigging 6 times a week to gigging 0 times a week. But then Australia started slowly opening up, and then Hamilton, I was offered a position within the company, and now that's what I'm doing. It's a very different path to what I thought was set for me.
Wow, amazing. So let's go back to the Genesis point, because every Polynesian, right, especially my parents, when I bring on a Tongan guest, they're always like, who's her parents, or who's his parents, right? Can we introduce your parents? And let's start back there. Who are your parents? What are their names? Can you introduce the audience to them?
My mom's name is Kate Amosa. She's Australian. She was born here in Canberra. She's raised all of us kids within the same, living within streets of her family home. So we've always been very close. My dad's name is Steve Amosa. He is an artist as well, a musician. Been a musician all my life. So I've been super lucky having direct exposure to that world from a very young age.
Wow, awesome. So shout out to Kate and Steve. And you mentioned the church, and I've seen so many videos either shared on Island City of you playing like guitar. So let's start back there. How did that really build the faith? Because it was really interesting meeting you, because you are outgoing, you can perform, you've got mad lyrics, right? And I'm all about music. I grew up in the Los Angeles area, and then getting in with Q and those guys, I get to see some artists that most people just don't get to see. I mean, these artists come around Sacramento, San Francisco. It's just like, hey, Q, can I get in? Can my wife and I go check that out? Yeah, right. And then meeting you, you were so soft-spoken. And in fact, in our meeting, I don't remember even hearing you say one word, right? Because you're so analytical. Like, that's what I kind of saw of you. It's like you're just kind of gauging everything out. So starting back then, instruments, faith that led to who it is that you are now.
Instruments, I was always a singer. I had piano lessons as a child, which I hated. So I begged my parents to let me stop, which I obviously regret now as an adult. But that led me to that, in combination with singing hymns in church, has helped me to read music, which is super helpful with my job currently. Hasn't always been necessary at all. But yeah, very, very helpful. Grew up baptized as a Latter-day Saint. My grandpa, I'm pretty sure it was grandpa, was baptized, and he converted my grandma, and then my dad was born, and him and his siblings were born into it, and then me and my siblings were born into it. It's an interesting mix. My mum's not religious at all, and my dad's very religious. So I've been able to see both sides. And I know with every part of me that I wouldn't be able to do what I do without the help of my faith. I'm not as not religious. Maybe I don't live all the standards that the church requires or the church suggests that would be useful for us, but I pray every day, and when I know when I can't stand anymore, I kneel. And yeah, it truly is my faith and the companionship of all the higher powers that I believe in that I'm able to withstand my job and my industry. It's hard.
Right. And then like you're saying, I hated going to dance practice when I was young, right? But we'd have these big youth events and everybody has to learn the Tongan Laka Laka, and we had to do all these things, and I hated it. I hated standing in front of the church and saying John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave. Like I hated it. I tried to just not be around when they left to those things, but it really taught me how to really have the discipline to sit down and grind out something that I didn't like so that I could do what I wanted to do in some aspect later. Any other life lessons from your youth that was like that? You mentioned piano, and then a little bit of regret there. But any life lessons like that from parenting and your parents of trying to make sure that you do these things, and not only now do you appreciate it more as an adult?
My parents have never not supported me. When I finished my bachelor, I'll never forget, I finished my Bachelor of Music, and Dad only wanted me to continue. It was only another 2 years of studying for me to become a music teacher, if that's what I decided to do in the future. And by that point, I was so sick of studying and I hated it and I thought I wasn't good at it. And I decided I wouldn't, even though he really tried to encourage me, and he never forced me. It was never aggressive with it was only out of love. But he did. And then I booked my first major musical. And even though I see the incredible knowledge from experience that my parents have, that they wish they could just fix all my problems with or stop me from reaching any problems because they've been there. But the incredible support that I've had from my parents, helping me through the bad decisions that I've made and helping me through the great ones, it's so priceless. No money can buy it. There's nothing I would give up. Like I couldn't trade it for anything. So yeah, I'm lucky.
And what is the life lesson out there for parents like me? So my daughter's 12 and my son is 9. And my kids have seen so much of the world at such a young age, when I didn't even take my first family vacation with my parents till I was 24 and I was at the university. And we actually came down to Brisbane for one of my brothers getting married. So that was the first time, like my kids, before they turned 9, 10 years old, they've already been to the Caribbean. They've been to New Orleans. They've been to Mexico. They've been, right? And so what are some life lessons that you could share with parents? Like, let them try it their way. Allow them to really spread their wings. Like, what's some life lessons that you could maybe urge or bring some insight to us? Because your parents didn't do that. They didn't go, no, like a lot of Polynesian parents do. Is like, no, Kirrah, if you love us, you know, we're your steward and we think you should do this. Right? What are some life lessons that you could share with parents about allowing your kids to make decisions, obviously not detrimental to their life, but that would allow them to learn and grow and find their own path? Kirrah.
I find it a bit hard giving advice to parents because I'm not a parent yet. Yeah. And I think a huge amount of, like, I feel like I've learnt, my parents taught me a lot of respect to older people and trying to tell them what you think you know when they know a lot more. But I know as the product of a loving environment, my relationship with my parents is unwavering because of not the freedom. I was not running around. Like I grew up with my parents were quite strict on me, until they knew that I was old enough to kind of make my own decisions, and that not insane decisions, but when I was maybe 14, I saw them kind of lessen their grip, even to the point of, Dad never ever forced me to go to church, continue going to church with him. So when it came to because of that, and every Sunday he would just kind of knock on the door. Once I was old enough, he would just knock on the door and say, I'm going to go to church. Would you like to come? And because it was that loving, open environment, I always said yes. That's just one example, I guess, of the power of, just unwavering support and the effect that it can have on a child.
Right, because it's so self-empowering when a parent grants their child permission and authority to do and become what they want the way they want. Right, that is so, and that's the definition of empowerment is the granting of authority and permission to do and become or achieve something, to become more powerful, better at something. Right. So I feel like that's great servant leadership. That's great parenting. That's great leadership in general. Right. And I find that people that really influence, they do teach kind of in parables where they don't tell you the answer. They ask you a question so that you can come up with your own answer. And sometimes I'm like, does that mean yes or no? Okay. So we go to university, and I've read up a couple of the things that you talked about, the theory. What is, because here in America, I really feel like in the States that, at least for me, the university was the jungle where I had to go figure things out, where not only was I not academically disciplined, so I had academic acuity and the ability to figure out things both mentally, cerebral, in a cerebral way, to see things different than most. And teachers saw that in me, and I didn't see that in me at all. But then when I went to the university, then I was like, whoa, like the life skills that I was lacking because I didn't listen to my mom about how to do laundry and how to cook. Because I was like, man, Ma, come on. I mean, Tony men don't cook. We cook outside. But I really feel like that's here in the States, that's where you like sink or swim. You start to figure things out, become self-reliant, and learn the laws of the jungle, life, relationships, partying, prioritizing. What was that like for you? And what are some life lessons that you could share with aspiring artists? My daughter is a singer. She's going to be watching this episode. What would be some life lessons about the value of the knowledge portion before you start getting and making money and start becoming this performer, and the accountability and the actions of that? You must first acquire the knowledge of what that is as a noun, is how I teach it. Your thoughts on that?
I don't know if you should show your daughter this. Obviously, the discipline that that I learnt, going through university, leaving school was from a very structured lifestyle to going and everything is up to you. Like you're going to learn everything that you choose to learn. You don't have to worry about maths and English and science and all the other subjects that you hate. You're actually only doing what you want. Plus, it's actually only usually one or two classes a week in that subject, maybe just one. And it's like a 3-hour class. So you've only got 3 hours a week that you can be there, you should be there, but you also don't have to be there because there's a lot of online resources. And then, so you've got all this extra time. You've got a lot of friends that finally you connect with completely because you're studying and you love the same things. and then trying to balance having a job and have the freedom to work a lot more, which means you're making a lot more, so you can spend a lot more. And then that was the time that I moved out of home. Learned that laundry doesn't just magically do itself.
Yes.
Which was like, I was ambushed by that idea, because that was some rudeness when I learned that lesson the hard way. Even just like having to service my own car was up to me. Having to book my doctor's appointments was up to me.
Right.
Paying my phone bill was up to me. Like, all of that stuff was hard, but like you said before, it was incredibly empowering. Right. Having to fill those shoes, because you recognize that behavior that you've seen with your parents. When you start recognize it within your own lifestyle and your own daily routine, there's a sense of you that kind of, your shoulders lift and you think, I'm doing something important, and I'm doing something. When I start recognizing my parents' behavior in myself, I feel really proud. Even if it's something as small as paying my phone bill on time, or cleaning my room.
Right. And then so I did read up on a quote that you said that, and I was saving this for the hot seat, but I think it's appropriate right now because we're in university, and you said, I got tired of waiting and really quite restless. It wasn't until I finished university and the opportunities stopped knocking on my door that I started knocking on theirs. Mm-hmm. What was that approach? What that mentality? Why start thinking like that?
Everyone's very different, but I found myself being really irritable, and my temper was short with my family and within my relationship at the time. My weight was fluctuating because I'm a very emotional eater, and I would just try and comfort myself with as many external substances like food as I could. Actually, at the time, I wasn't drinking much at all. It was just, I found myself blaming other people for work that I wasn't doing. And it was a really hard lesson that I, like, having self-awareness that hits you like a truck like that, was very humbling and very grounding. And then I also started, once I realized the hard truth, and I got over the fact that it felt unfair that I had to do all this work for something that I wanted. I started, just implementing tiny little things like going to the gym. Even just getting myself to the gym, I felt better and better about just turning up. And then once I turned up, I started doing more and more things that made me like the gym and like eating well and like going to church and actually listening, or even performing, listening to the musician that I'm performing with, and not just having my eyes on the goal, but just seeing the bigger picture of things. It was quite addictive, that rush of productivity, and which then led to motivation, which then led to more results. Mm-hmm. Like, it was just a huge snowball effect of great things. And within the snow was, like, some sticks and dirt, all these lessons that you learn along the way. But I'm a big snowball now, Coach. And I still got a long way to go.
Right. And one of my favorite quotes is that we are all accountable for what we do and responsible for what we do. But oftentimes, on the highest level of the clients that I work with, the companies, organizations, nonprofits, government agencies that I work with, I remind them and make them aware that we are also accountable for the things that we do not do.
Oh, that hurts.
That's like a higher level, because we all know there's a cause and effect. We all know decisions determine destiny. We know that choices, but it's not until you become almost either you struggle and you fail so much that you fail forward and succeed, or you're 45 like me and you understand oftentimes it's the things that I'm not doing that are hurting me, my success and my life fulfillment, as well as the opportunity to maximize the experience for my family. So does that get into it? When I say that, what does that make you think? Because that's what I thought of when I read that quote and I was researching up on you, because I thought I knew who you were, but just to be ready for this interview, I wanted to be ready and not just call people and go, hey, what do you think about her and all that? I just wanted to read, because the literature and what I read has no opinion. So then that's what I thought of. Like right there, Kirrah understands that she's not only accountable for what she does, but she's accountable for what she doesn't do. Therefore, she's reached a higher level of awareness to go, the only person that's accountable for my success and is to blame for my success or failure is me. Your thoughts?
I lose sleep thinking, and it can come, it can be a little toxic at times, but I definitely lose sleep over the idea that when I am messing around or when I know I'm doing something not as productive, there's a girl out there just like me who's at the same level that I am, but she's progressing because she's making better choices. And on the days that I slack off, not the days that I have off, it's different, letting yourself rest and be present. Like it's actually only until the last couple of months that I've stopped living for the future and just like clawing my way to reach a destination that's always just in front of me, and not realizing what I've got now, the success that I actually do have now, and marveling in the hard work that I've put in to get to this point. And just because I'm not headlining Coachella, which for a long time I thought that was the goal. And once I hit that, then I can die happy. There's so much success around me, a lot that I've been blessed with and a lot that I've worked hard for. But it never stops me from not wanting more, but I am addicted to the hard work because I'm addicted to the results.
That's right. That's right. So in talking about Coachella, I mean, and I've read what you feel about Beyonce. Did you see that Beyonce special that she hit up over there and it just like blew up? Did you see that? And what did you think of that? Because I also was just like, I love how she said that, because I'm no artist like you, worldwide artist like you, but I have been known to really strike it up on the karaoke stage, right? So, and when I do,
I believe.
everybody starts singing Sweet Caroline with me. I mean, that the energy, because as a speaker in front of 5,000 people, and when I say repeat after me, and they all say what I say, and then you could draw them. For a performer in terms of my speaking industry is kind of draw them in, let them out, bring them in, make them cry, make them laugh. I mean, that's empowering for me as a speaker. So as a performer, talk about that vibe and Coachella, but then also, hey, I got a lot of good stuff going on right now. I'll be there in a minute though.
In the last couple of years, I have decided to look at my career like this, that it's actually my purpose to entertain because I know I'm good at it and I know that I love it. And I love being able to take people out of what they're feeling at the time. And take them out of whatever, like I know that 20 minutes with me and I can make you forget what you're worried about 20 minutes before that, based on the way I sing or even the way that like I can converse with you that I've learned through being a performer. I am addicted to it is not like a drug, but maybe I am addicted to the rush that performance gives me, as the way that you've described it. It's the same thing as a singer. Even yesterday, I did a double show day of one of the lead characters that I play. And you know that you have people in the palm of your hand if you put the work in. If you put the right work in and you give people the attention that they deserve, then you get a result that is astounding.
Oh my gosh.
For me.
Amazing. Yeah. It's amazing as a performer, and it's amazing for the crowd. So that there's a duality there and a synergy, right? Between the audience and the crowd, where there's a value proposition by both, from the audience's energy for the performer, and then in terms of what I've felt. And then talk about engaging someone and help people learn how to do that. How can we do that? So in professional speaking, when I coach my clients that are leaders, they talk about creating buy-in. I was like, yeah, that's great, but that's transactional. Winning hearts and minds with your words and how you say it, conveying to them according to who the audience and how they are going to receive it, right? That's how you win hearts and minds. That's how you make people cry. Like, that's how people would see Michael Jackson back in the 80s, and they just start, oh my God. You know what I'm saying, Kirrah, right?
I do.
So help people understand how the words that you use, the tone, the rhythm in which you speak, the emphasis of a particular word. In theater, right? Because now as you talk about theater, I often almost feel like that's what I do as a professional speaker in terms of what I call engagement speaking. Help people understand how the nuances is what makes you a professional, and how you speak, perform, body language to really connect and bring value to the audience.
As a performer, actually, being specific, in this job, I've realized how important it is to be genuine in the text of the show, because it's too obvious when I am trying to sing about heartbreak, but I'm not actually allowing myself as a human to feel that emotion, to then convey it in a song. And the same goes for having a conversation with someone. Like I said before, my high school experience was not great. And it was because I was consistently looked through and looked over and looked past. So now, as a human, as an adult, if you are serving me coffee, or you're helping me pay for my petrol, or you're helping me, if you're just speaking to me, I will try to give you my full attention. And I will try to get you out of your daily routine. I'll try and do something that sparks your brain takes you out of the trance of every day. I will look you in the eye, because being seen is such a powerful tool.
Oh, empowering, no doubt.
You know?
Yeah.
And letting people know that you see them, you can see the change that it has on their whole body, how they want to converse with you, and what the questions that they ask you. Some people, still live in their own world, and that's their own journey, and that's fine. But the people that see you and they can see that you are looking at them, it's very magnetic. And it strikes a real conversation and a real connection that can't be faked.
Right. And then when performers do that, so from a singing perspective, and when you say Bodyguard, I mean, I was in high school when Bodyguard came out, and Whitney Houston was with this white cat, right? And started singing. And I was like this football player, macho high school guy. And I started crying, right? I'm like, bro, what's up with you? I'm like, man, this is some beautiful stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because you just engage. I mean, it's it's when a performer can really, and then she sang so amazing. And then Kevin Costner was just amazing in his role and how they played that. And that's what I'm always watching for in people who I do business with. So for you, what else? What else would you like to touch on before we move forward? In terms of, hey, when you go to your job, despite what's going on, hey, smile. Because when you said, man, people look at me like I'm weird sometimes. Because here in the States, somebody will make eye contact with me and I just smile. And that is the universal hello. I'm not threatening. Hope you have a good day. Just smile at people, right? It's amazing how empowered people think, because people are going through all their stuff. But as a performer, what else do you keep in top of mind on how you make sure that you conduct yourself? You give emotion, like you said, to the words that you're singing and what you're presenting from the text. What else do you do?
Well, it's something that I try to apply in my conversations, in my music writing, in my music performance, in any sort of connection. Whenever I'm trying to make any sort of connection, I just try to remain in my social media, like as genuine as I can be, because it's not magnetic otherwise. I find myself magnetized to someone when I feel like I can relate to them and I can really see them. I can see even on social media, I feel like I can see when people are just trying to tick boxes. And I can feel when people are, even if they're the most outgoing, ridiculous, outrageous people, if I can feel that it comes from a genuine place, I'll support that. And I want to know more about it. So I feel like I try to do that in everything that I do. And it wasn't until it's taken me a long time, and my manager has spent a solid 2 years just saying, please open up, please let your walls down and try to show your supporters and fans or people looking in that you are the person that I see all the time. Whereas I was very guarded, and I felt like not everyone needed to see different sides of me. But since letting that wall down, a huge weight has been lifted from my shoulders. And I feel like, and I've been able to connect via just even on my social media, which doesn't seem to be a really personal way to connect with people. But I have created a very loyal support base online since I started just letting myself be genuine and letting people see the stupidest sides of me and the worst sides of me and the best sides of me.
Right, no doubt. So I coach, teach, and train that when you become empowered, which there's a lot of different levels and ways in terms of the semantics for how to articulate empowerment, awareness, leveling up, right? We could say it different ways. But really, it makes you more effective and efficient in achieving what you want. But then because you are what you want and are trying to be, you now attract that. So I continue hearing this word from you, like you become a magnet, magnetism, law of attraction. So I believe in the law of attraction, but I really just title it grace and blessings. God's unmerited and undeserved favor. Like that's really what I feel like the law of attraction is. But then you also become where God created us in the image and the likeness of him. Because we are like him and not God, we have the ability to create and attract, not just grind and go get. So as you talk about magnetism, can you unpack that for us? And you saying, so the more transparent and real it is that I am, and that's part of the bio that you and your team sent over to me, is that, only create music that is honest and real. Unpack that for us, please, Kirrah.
Mm. It's actually an experience that I've had this week. In the last 2 weeks. I had a week off work where I was really sick, and I came back and I felt like the cast around me was so tight-knit with each other, and I was so on the outside of that. And I just felt, I had an attitude about it, and I just thought, you know what, if you guys don't need me, I don't need you, and that's fine, and no harm, no foul. And then I realized I was trying to get something out of people that I wasn't giving, which is so really selfish and such a bizarre way to demand something from someone. If you're demanding love and openness, but you're asking for it from a very closed place, it's really impossible to receive when you're not open. So I spent the next week or the next even few days after that just trying to connect with people again. Being like, there was a period of time where I thought, well, you're not inviting me to stuff. Okay, that's fine. And then I thought, well, I can just invite them.
Right.
Why can't I invite people to my house? And so I did. And I've been able to, and now I have that problem is completely gone.
Right.
So I definitely feel like you are what you eat. You get what you give. You know, in all aspects, the way that you connect, all the work that you put into cooking a meal, going to the gym, your career, your family, your relationships. And it makes sense too.
No question. So now, the people that you work with are now more inclusive because you've become more inclusive.
I don't think it was a conscious thing for them either.
Right.
Like, technically, yes. They were never, ever, like, as soon as I came back from work, from being away for a while, from being sick, I got so many people saying, you know, we missed you and we loved you. We love having you back. And it's great to have you in the building again. But for some reason, I would just kind of say, thank you. But I stopped the open flow of the conversation of, I missed you too. And I would love to connect again. And I feel really disconnected by being away from everybody. But I stopped putting in the work and the awareness. And once the awareness was back on my side, I felt it from other people as well. And maybe it's a matter of placebo. Maybe it's just because I'm looking for it, or I think I'm putting in more work than I am. I don't know, but I do know that there was a shift in my brain, what I felt from other people. They were more open to me because I was more open to them.
Right. Yeah, that's always amazing. When grown adults start to correspond and communicate about what they want instead of talking to others and excluding people from the conversation that they work with every single day. So I've been a part of championship football teams where the staff, they don't really vibe like that, but we can win on a championship level. But then I've also experienced where when you are a bit more tight-knit and respectful of one another, and also try to develop, advance, and appreciate each other, you can win. You can make more money. You can win more championships. You can recruit better. The vibe is better. People want, like, and with the corporate companies it is that I coach, teach, and train, like, engagement, there's an increase of engagement by 61% just by developing people for personal growth, advancing them in terms of helping them progress in their goals, not the company goals, and saying, hey, Kirrah, I appreciate you. I really do. Right? Those things in the corporate world versus it just creates more profitability. People want to come to work and the vibe is just better. Right? versus just I'm the boss. This is the way it is. Let's all be professional. You do your thing, I do my thing. Is that kind of like what was going on? And what else can you add as a life lesson from that you learned?
I do believe in the difference between a boss and a leader. I've worked for many bosses,
right,
and it has vowed to make me never be a boss in all my work dealings, but also as an older sister and eventually as a parent. I don't want to be someone's boss. I want to be someone's leader. I want to be at the front of the pack, pulling as hard as everyone else, like just only at the front of the pack, directing the path, not at the top of the. Have you seen? There's like a diagram of a leader carrying this thing where they're carrying it together, or the boss is sitting on the top of it saying that way or that way.
Yeah, he's getting carried and going, hey, everybody go this way. Yeah, and really it comes down to, right, people don't care what you know. They don't care about your skills until they know how much you care. That's just an old school fundamental approach. We've come into this portion of the show. To everyone watching, thank you so much for tuning in with this feature on the Coach V Show on Island City with the Kirrah Amosa from down in Australia. And we've come to the segment of the show that we're going to allow her to tell her message to the world. Number one, Kirrah, what is your message to the world? What are some life lessons that you could say, hey, this is what I think about success. This is what I think about life. And then number two on that, would you please touch on some shout outs, your team, your manager, whoever it is that you want to shout out, Kirrah?
My measures of success are really shifting for me right now. I always thought that it was, for a long time, I thought it was me performing at Coachella, until I looked around and realized that I have a bed to sleep in. I have a car that gets me from A to B that's reliable. I have food every day. I can walk. I have an incredibly strong body that I can take and exercise and use to give other people help when they need it. I have an incredibly supportive network, family. I'm lucky, but like my people, the support that I get from you guys, I'm able to do what I love every single day based on sacrifices and hard work that I've put in. But I'm lucky that I am able to do what a lot of people right now, particularly with the climate of the world, they can't do it.
Right.
I'm in a loving relationship that I feel I'm able to trust and be trusted, which then makes me look at the world in a completely different light too. Like I'm happy to love and trust a lot more outside of myself and to try and give more than I think I've got. I always thought success meant that your face was on a poster somewhere.
Right.
And then I looked at the way that my dad lives, and he has as much talent and had as many opportunities as I did, but instead he chose to raise me and my siblings, and alongside with my mum, create an incredibly loving, supporting environment that attracts anyone that experiences it, whether you're related to us or you're not. He changes people's lives. Just after church, he'll go and visit an elderly lady that lives by herself. Usually on Christmas days before COVID, we would spend an hour around lunchtime and try and visit as many elderly homes while they're all within their lunch break in the common area, and sing some carols to them. And he'd bring the kids along just because it was the nice, right thing to do, and hopefully give people some joy. And that's when I started recognizing what success and achievement is, and at least to me.
Right.
So I do have things that I want to continue to achieve, but based on that list of incredible things that I have in my life, I think I'm very successful now, and I'm very happy. I'm happy to keep working, but I'm also happy to enjoy what I've got. In terms of shout outs, once again, I am not here. I am not able to do what I do. My industry can be very selfish and very lonely.
Right.
But I am so supported. My parents and my siblings are at every show. And even if they've seen me sing the same songs over and over again,
right.
when I was a minor, and my mum would take me quickly for the first little section of Dad's gig at the casino when he was just playing at the bar, I would go and sing my 2 songs every single Friday. And then it was 9 p.m, so all minors had to leave, and then we'd go home. That support, I hope to give to pass on to my kids, because I'm nothing without it. Like I said, my manager, Al, he has been through thick and thin with me. He has seen me completely. When I first met him, I was too scared to show him a new song that I wrote. And now whenever I call him, I'm like, are we at the Grammys yet or what? Like, I want to release this song. I've got 3 music videos booked. Hope you're cool with that. And I want to do this. And he's just kind of rolling with the punches. And we butt heads only because we both care about each other and the same thing. I'm nothing without him, nothing without my boyfriend, Jamie, not only because, but he's definitely taught me, he's taught me to live now in the present and not to keep looking forward, because you're missing what's going on. Also the kind of love that I need. I need, because I'm quite a handful and I'm consistently moving. It's nice having someone that's grounding, being in a relationship, whether it's with a partner or your best friend or your family, having something that grounds you. And nothing without it, and nothing without my faith. I pray every day, and I thank Heavenly Father for consistently the love and support I have around me, but also ask him for the knowledge and the openness to go on the path that's set for me and not the path that I've chosen for myself. Because I know that at the end of the day, I've got everything I need.
Right.
So anything else that comes is just a bonus. And huge shout out to my Island City family. You guys really supported me from day one with my first single. We hadn't even met. I didn't even know your names, and I got contacted by DJ Green. And now here we are, and all I want to do is just come back and see you guys all work together and continue building this empire with and for our Polynesian people. We have so much to give, so much more to give, and I look forward to helping do that alongside all of you guys.
Awesome message and great shout out. I'm sure that those people have helped you so much, and I know that they're probably so grateful to be in your life, and that your parents are so just grateful and proud of all that you've done. Your manager, man, I look forward to meeting him. I look forward to meeting Jamie in the future, and because I'm coming down to Australia, I got some big plans and dreams to come down there and do some things as well. So
let me know.
Yeah, let's hook up, man, and just fellowship and go help people. In that, we've come to the segment and our final, as we start to conclude this show, is the Coach V Hot Seat, where I am going to say a quote or an expression, and then your girl, Kirrah Amosa, is going to tell all of us what's at the top of mind. Here is a Kirrah Amosa quote. And it says, everyone can have opportunities and abilities as everyone else, but it's whether you truly utilize them that's going to get you anywhere. It's all about the hustle. When I say that Kirrah Amosa quote to you, Kirrah Amosa, what is your thoughts?
I believe I am the same person that I was. I believe my abilities were pretty much the same 6 months ago when it was the thick of COVID. I wasn't really working. I hadn't released any music. I hadn't really written much music. Didn't have any music videos ready to go. But 6 months later, on my one day off a week, I drive home 3 hours to Canberra, shoot a music video, write a new song, record whatever, meet new people, come back and do like a full six-day week. And now I've got an incredible, I'm very proud of the body of work that I have ready to release. And I know that wouldn't have happened without sleepless nights and getting extremely sick from fatigue. Right. And the support of the people around me making sure I eat and making sure I drink water.
Right.
But without the hustle, there is no sugar.
Hashtag real talk.
Mm-hmm.
Without
the hard truth.
No sugar. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's what I think of that wonderful, insightful quote. What clever words.
It's a Bob Marley quote on the Coach V hot seat. One good thing about music, when it hits you, you feel no pain. Your thoughts?
Yep. I think music makes me feel everything in its entirety. It makes me feel the pain, but then it takes it away.
Right.
It makes me feel the joy, but then I marvel in it. It makes me feel the motivation, which then pushes me to continue finishing my reps at the gym or my walk to work on a day I don't want to be there. Music is such a universal language. Even when people don't understand the language that you're speaking, they can still feel you and connect with you, which is why it's so important. It's such an important tool for connecting with another human.
Yes. What a platform, no doubt. Here's a Coach V quote. There's money in the transaction, but the wealth is in the relationships. Your thoughts?
I tell people that I am the wealthiest person I know. And I haven't bought a house yet. I don't drive an super expensive car. I don't have stocks in I don't have a lot of paper money, but I have what all the money in the world cannot buy. And that's in my relationships with my family, with my friends, my colleagues, the environment that we all work hard to maintain. It doesn't come easy, but it's so worth it every time.
Absolutely. Great thoughts. And the final Coach V hot seat quote, another Coach V quote that says, success and achievement is only part of it. Translating that success and achievement into joy, peace, happiness, fulfillment, love, and family time. That's the juice. Your thoughts?
I've heard too many stories of people with tons of money that are still unhappy. I've seen interviews with artists that have just suddenly become viral, and they get asked, now that you have money, are you happier? And they say no.
Yeah.
And there's stats to prove that once you reach a certain amount of money, your happiness doesn't change, whether you make this much to up here. And I've never needed money to be happy. So, and my parents I've never lived without as well. So yeah, I don't really find it that important. I find this important.
Right on. Right on. Well, Kirrah, thank you so much for coming and making time out of your busy schedule down there. We're recording. We started at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here in Kirrah, Cali, in the States, and down under it was around 1 p.m. Thank you so much for taking the time with all that you got going on to come on the Coach V Show here on Island City, where the beach meets the streets and where iron sharpens iron. Together we rise. So that's the show. Thank you, Kirrah, for coming out. And from both of us, I think that we all need to understand this. It is just not for the sake of being successful that it is that we go after success and achievement, but really is for the sake of being our best. In doing so, we realize the best of our abilities, and that everything and anything that you dream, pray, and hope for and will work for can be achieved. This is how this success coach, keynote speaker, Hollywood radio show host, and author lives, all about faith and family. Grateful for God's amazing grace. Until next time, thank you so much for tuning in. Tune in to the Coach V YouTube channel, subscribe, and catch this segment and this on the podcast, released every Tuesday, produced by yours truly, Brother Q, on the Coach V podcast. And we will see you on the next show. Until then, one love and mad respects always. It is your girl, Kirrah Amosa, down in Australia, and your boy, Coach V, right here in Cali. One love, mad respects, live it. Peace.